I am Kelly and I work as a counsellor supporting women who have trans people in their family. And if that's you, I want to start by saying it's okay to feel conflicted, isolated, and even worried about your own reaction and emotions. Many of the women I speak to experience a kind of alienation, a sense that the world expects them to feel a certain way, and if they don't, they're somehow failing. And today I want to talk about something that rarely gets acknowledged, even amongst counselling professionals, and that's the fact that some family members are being left without support, not because they don't need support, but because of gatekeeping within the counselling community. You might have experienced this yourself. Maybe you've looked for a counsellor who could listen without judgment, or perhaps you've tried to get support through support networks or Facebook groups, only to find doors quietly closing once people discover you don't fully affirm your family members' trans identity. And I want to explore why this happens, what it looks like in practice, and most importantly, what you can do to get the help and validation that you deserve. Let me start by explaining what I mean by gatekeeping. In professional counselling networks, both online and offline, there's a growing expectation that all support must be affirming. And that's to say the counsellor's role is often assumed to be about fully validating and celebrating a person's trans identity. And of course, affirmation is important for some clients, and I'm not here to argue against supporting trans people. The problem arises when this expectation becomes a barrier for family members seeking help. In my experience, I'm active in several Facebook counselling groups where professionals share referrals and seek guidance. Sometimes in those groups, counsellors ask to connect with counsellors who can take referrals for family members of trans people. And initially it seems quite open, but then as soon as they learn that I provide exploratory counselling and that I'm gender critical, the conversation changes and they just go quiet. They don't want to know. They actually ask, are you gender critical? Because they don't want to refer family members to someone like me who thinks that gender ideology is harmful. And, that's a clear example of gatekeeping. It's a decision based not on competence or ethics or skill, but on ideology. If a counsellor doesn't align with a certain belief system, they're deemed unsafe to refer clients to, regardless of whether the client actually wants that type of support. And the consequences are serious. Women who are already feeling alienated, guilty or anxious about their family member's identity can suddenly feel even more isolated. They're left without guidance at a time when the most need a safe, neutral space to process their feelings. And as we've heard in some of my interviews, some of these trans widows who I have talked to and who Uta Higgins talked to, they say that they've been coerced into participating in kinds of sex acts that they don't want to participate in, not only by the person they are married to, but also by the therapists that they are working with. And that is unethical. So most of the women who I work with describe a profound sense of loss, but how I would describe it is ambiguous loss. It's a grief that's complicated and often invisible. And you might love your family member, but you may also feel sadness or confusion about changes in the relationship or the dynamics in your family. If you add to that the social expectation that you must respond in a particular way, that you must affirm, celebrate and adapt without question, and you can start feel like you're doing something wrong just by acknowledging your own feelings. The withdrawal of professional support only compounds this. When referral networks close off because a counsellor is ideologically captured, women feel abandoned. They may fear judgment or disapproval from other professionals, friends, or even other family members. And this isolation can lead to guilt, fear, and confusion about how you should be. It's really important to understand that those feelings aren't wrong. They're human, and the problem's not your reaction. The problem is that the systems designed to provide support are failing you. And this is where exploratory counselling comes in, because it's a safe, non-judgmental space where you can say whatever you want without pressure to conform to an ideology or agree with every aspect of your family member's identity. And it's a place to acknowledge and process conflict and emotions, including anger, grief, guilt or confusion, and it's guidance in setting boundaries in conversations with your family member, other relatives or social networks, because some of those conversations are going to get quite heated and cause conflict. It's a structured space to develop strategies for coping with your anxiety, your fear and your social isolation. And unlike affirmation-only approaches, exploratory counselling recognises that your feelings are valid and that your well-being matters. And it's not about opposing your loved one, it's about understanding yourself, protecting your mental health and navigating family dynamics safely. And gatekeeping and counselling, by contrast, can leave women with no options. If referrals are withheld, the only remaining choices are often support groups that assume affirmation or silence, and that's not support, that's abandonment. So if you're watching this and you felt left out or unsupported, you can get in touch with me. It's kellyoliverdougall.co.uk/counselling. And if you know someone who's in this situation, please do share my videos with them, because it's going to be really hard to find a counsellor who is not ideologically captured, and because most counsellors like me who have my stance will be keeping quiet because it's too dangerous to speak out for them. So you won't be able to find them easily. But I have networks as well, so if I can't help you, I've got networks where I can help you to access alternative support. And so, yes, you can get in touch with me and I can support you, or I can help you access other support that we do have other counsellors within my organisation, but also I know external counsellors as well. So please do get in touch and share this with people who may need my service, because I think it's going to be really difficult to find counsellors like me if you're a woman looking for support.